I broke the cycle of poverty, and I'm proud of myself. Bravo. Yeah, stand up, stand up. Get that crotch shot in here. I grew up in a single wide 2-bedroom trailer with my mom, stepdad, the dad who at 17 fell in love with my 22-year-old single mom with 3 kids. He is my dad and my 2 brothers. By the way, this comes from Pretty Pink Nails on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So we were poor, but they always made sure we did extracurricular, sports, scouts, church stuff in the summer for free daycare, and so many camping and hunting trips. I didn't see that we were below poverty until junior high. I began going to friends' houses whose homes were so big and nice and they had their own rooms. I never had friends over because I shared a room with my 2 brothers, and our bathroom didn't even have a door. But I had an amazing childhood. At 14, my parents divorced and my mom couldn't afford a place, so we lived in a camper from November 2004 to June 2005. During that time, I had no leash. My dad had always been very strict with me about curfew, phone access, etc., but with the freedom of an absent, overworked mother and a dad who didn't care, I went a little wild. I began drinking and hanging out with the wrong kids. With all the parties and stuff, I never did substances. I never missed a day of school, and I worked 3 days a week bussing tables and doing dishes at a cafe near the RV park. Sounds like you worked hard, play hard. I bought my own clothes, food, and kept minutes on my track phone, where my 90s baby's at, and did whatever I wanted. I figured it wasn't a big deal because I was good at home, had good grades, and never got in trouble. My brothers were doing enough of that for my mom. My older brother was doing hard substances and getting into trouble. My little brother was diagnosed with multiple mental health issues and had my mom in tears half the time. Our biological dad tried coming back around but couldn't stay out of jail. He passed away in prison when I was 23 due to a hemorrhage in his stomach, so we were told. And I say biological because that is another can of worms. And my dad and I only talked once a month, if that. End of my freshman year, we moved in with my grandparents until my mom had enough saved for an apartment. And then I found out I was pregnant.
Dang, that is a onslaught of stuff. Oh my goodness.
I knew exactly who the father was, and I knew I would never see him again.
Okay, well,
He
it's
wasn't
good to
from
know
my
that
town,
up front.
and we only met twice. I was terrified. I didn't know what to do. I cried a lot. I tried so many things to lose my pregnancy. I don't think I actually accepted that I was pregnant until I was forced to tell my mom, and that didn't happen until I was 6 months along. I did not care for my body, starved myself. I wore loose-fitting clothes. I was also lying to everyone about my pregnancy. It was getting too hard to hide, and I ended up confiding in someone who helped me tell my mom. She took it better than I could have imagined. My whole family did. Looking back at it now, I had no reason to be worried. I have an amazing family. Once the news was out, I never disclosed who the father was. I told everyone it was a one-night stand and that it didn't matter. I was not sure if I wanted to give the baby up for adoption or keep them. Then my mom suggested that she and her new husband would adopt the baby. It was never an option. As soon as she said those words, I knew this was my baby. No one was going to raise my child to be in the same cycle I was raised in. How could I guarantee that whomever adopted them would be a good parent? What if they ended up like my parents and the baby continues the poverty cycle? No, this is my child and I'm going to break the cycle. Just 2 months after my 16th birthday, I gave birth to a beautiful, healthy baby boy. I didn't know what to do with this thing. By this point, my dad and I had begun healing our relationship, and he stayed with me all night at the hospital. He is the one who talked to me about my hormone changes and body changes for after giving birth. This was coming from a man who at the time had no biological children and had raised 3 that were not his. My dad is my role model when it comes to my standards of men and fathers. From the beginning, he was such an easy baby, always happy and on the go, walking at 10 months and learning every day. I was able to finish high school with my class in 2008 with honors. My family was my support system to graduate high school. I was determined to finish high school like a normal teenager. I was able to do all the things you do in traditional American high schools and raise my son. My family helped so much so I could still experience life. I moved out after high school multiple times. I worked dead-end jobs after dead-end waitress jobs. I had so many failed relationships that I felt like a failure. I was living with my son in my grandparents' dilapidated motorhome. But if he needed something, I made it happen. New clothes, field trips, movies, anything I could to make memories. By the time he started school, I was drowning. I was broke and sad all the time. Then I was given a new job opportunity and I swooped that up fast. A year after I took that job, I was able to afford my first apartment. I bought my first grown-up car for adventures with my son and dog, and I was beginning to become happy. Still didn't date much because I never met anyone who I felt was the right man to be in my son's life. And I never tried to find his dad because I only had maybe 3 identifiers for him. We lived in that apartment for 5 years. I was beginning to make some decent money, but always lived like I was going to be broke the next day. I was never taught financial planning and was in so much debt. I was making really good money, but could never make ends meet.
I just remembered a very sad, tragic tale.
Oh, what is it?
I remember when a young Samuel Donner, he wanted to join the cool kids, but instead of labeling you as one of the cool kids,
They called me Salad Boy because I ate nothing but salads and could not trade my lunch for a lunch bowl or really anything.
You know what community will always welcome you with open arms, Sam?
And make you feel like a cool kid?
The great people who have OK Storytime memberships.
Oh, I heard that's 60 plus hours of members only content Monday, Wednesday, Fridays.
You heard right, Sam, and it's only $5 a month.
So go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join. Now back to the story.
Chomp, chomp.
But in 2019, I met my now husband.
Yes.
He is everything we needed to make our world right. He is my true soulmate, and I knew I was destined to go through all I did to end up where I was when we met.
That's the alchemist type stuff right there.
He is the father my son needed at the time in his life where he needed a father most. I raised my son when I needed him most. He is truly the best thing I've ever done in this life. Plus, he got 2 siblings that he gets along with so well. I love all of my kids. This year, our son turned 18 and wanted to find his biological dad. I have never lied to him about what I knew of his father. It was never information that anyone else needed. So I never shared with my family until he was old enough to understand why he was not around. It was a very hard decision for me to make. So I had my husband start the 23andMe process.
Here we go.
Here we
We're
go.
finding the dad.
It was the longest 4 weeks ever. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I had so many anxiety attacks. What if he was a deadbeat and he breaks his heart? What if he doesn't accept him? There were so many what ifs that I couldn't function. Then we get the result. And he is a decent human being.
Oh, okay.
He has other kids and has been married a few times. He looks exactly as I remembered. How could I forget when my son has his eyes? We tell our son first and show him on the DNA site. And then that we found him on Facebook. We gave him the option to reach out or not. And he asked me to send a message. One thing led to another. And the next thing we know, he is coming to our state to meet him. I am so relieved and happy that they are getting along so well. His father and I had a chance to talk, and I made it very clear that I held no ill will towards him, that I don't think he ruined my life, and that he gave me the greatest blessing ever. He told me I raised a wonderful young man.
What?
Now I'm sitting here in the house that my husband and I closed on last week, reflecting on how far I've come from living in a single wide trailer with parents who resented one another to becoming a successful, confident mother, wife, and businesswoman who loves her amazing husband and family. And if you love us, you should listen to our podcast that we release every day on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast. And you can listen while you're doing other stuff. It's great. It's awesome. Listen to us in your ear holes.
Just search OK
24/7.
Storytime wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm a woman who celebrates being in her career for 11 years tomorrow, a single teen mom who's raised an amazing, caring, and trade school-bound young man. I broke that cycle of poverty in my family. I am not a statistic. I am proud of myself. I am proud of my husband, and I am so proud of my son. I chose to be happy and keep breaking the cycle. And that is where that story ends.
That's right. And I think that last sentence was a call
beautiful.
to action.
Yeah?
It was not I chose. It was choose
Choose.
and break the cycle.
Choose to be happy and keep breaking the
It is a
cycle.
choice, right?
It is a choice.
I've told this to so many people today. I had one of the maintenance guy at our apartment. Like I woke up today, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Like my shoulder was bugging me. I had some acne. I ate bad last night. Not a good morning. Woke up, got to the elevator. Maintenance guy, 180'd my day. He was like, "You going to make some money today, man?" I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Yeah, you got $1 million smile. You're gonna make all this money. Oh, we only got one. It's today." He was basically just like, seize the day.
Yeah.
But he was so wholesome about it. It was like, yeah,
Hell
dude.
yeah. I love that.
You can choose to seize the day.
Yeah. This is what I've been doing lately. Like, you know, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we got to keep track of for the show. And sometimes it gets a little overwhelming and a little stressful. But every time, like sometimes like, you know, I'm thinking like 2 or 3 years out, I'm like, oh, AI is going to take over. And I'm like, and I'm going to be out of a job and like all of this stuff. And then I just kind of like move back my focus to the present moment. And the closer I am to just being in my little seat in my body, and be like, oh, this is nice. Like the happier I am. I have a little clicker. You guys know about my clicker.
I know the clicker, yes.
Yeah. For my sister's birthday present, I got her jazz piano lessons, and she had her first lesson this morning. And I was going down the stairs, and I was looking at her play piano, and I made eye contact with her, and I was just like, click. And she was smiling. I was smiling, and she was playing Girl Put Your Records On. It's awesome. And I think, yes, there's always bad crap going on, but you can really change how you feel in every moment if you just choose to just go back into the present, be like, oh.
It's exactly. And it's like, we are alive today, and there might not be a tomorrow, and their yesterday is gone.
Yeah.
So literally the only thing that is a real thing is today.
Yeah.
So every day we can choose to just be, this is the best day.
Yeah.
Because it's the day I'm alive today. So today's the best day.
I went outside after I saw my sister play, and I was looking at a blue trash can. And I'm like, damn, that blue is great.
It's a nice blue.
That's a nice blue.
It's a nice shade of blue.
That's a nice shade of blue.
That's truly
And
appreciating
that
the
gave me
little
happiness.
things right there.
Yeah. So yeah, this is your daily reminder to just love every moment.